It's your boy, Amreezy, and I'm back with another Road to Sorare Boss episode where we follow my journey in the wonderful world of Sorare and sometimes the painful world of Sorare as I experienced last weekend, as we'll show you later. But I didn't make my hot streaks ×5, X5 hot streak in the Premier League failed. I'll show you how I failed when we see my lineups from the previous weekend in a bit. But I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone, first of all, who watched my video on Monday, my live video on YouTube on Monday, which is Fantasy Football, a new show that I'm doing. Last season, I was doing a Premier League review show where I review every single Premier League game from the weekend and talk about Sorare as well, what each game means for Sorare, any Sorare players of note. And we have a live chat with people in the chat. It's great, load of fun. So I revamped it this year. It's called Fantasy Football, episode 1 with Hernduzi. He's a new Sorare manager. That was on last Monday. The Monday coming up next week, I'm going to have Hoodwink as my guest. Anyone in the Sorare community who's been around for a while should know Hoodwink. He's a beautiful, lovely soul, really nice guy. He's going to be joining me to talk Sorare, to talk Premier League, all of that fun stuff. So he'll be on Monday. If you want to join us live for that chat, it'll be Monday, 10 p.m. UK time, basically after the last Premier League game has been played. Monday Night Football, when that's finished, we jump on YouTube live and we have some fun. So if you'd like to join us for that one, join us next week. Otherwise, this week, I just also want to say, with the X5 hot streaks, a lot of people posting their wins on social media, as they should. If I had one, I would be posting on social media like, yay, I won the hot streaks, woo, I've got cash. Not everyone's winning. It's okay not to win. It's okay. It's part of the game. Sorare is a game of fun, of risk. You spend what you can afford to lose. And then when you have a weekend like I do, you're not financially ruined. You're not devastated. You're upset, but play with what you can afford to lose. Be careful out there, people. And, you know, have fun with it. Like, I'm obviously annoyed I'm out of the hot streaks, especially when I bought cards for like almost double what they're now worth. And I could have just bought them now and then played for the double hot streaks instead of the ×5 ones. But that was the risk I took. I've still got these cards. I'm holding them for the long run. I didn't buy them as a short-term thing. I bought some of these cards, especially my Chelsea ones. Going to keep them forever. So I just want to say that. Be careful out there. Not everyone's hit the hot streak. It may seem like it online. Not everyone hit the hot streak. There were other people like me and maybe some of you who didn't hit it. And that's okay. We have fun. We move on. And that's where we're going to start. Let's start by looking at that disaster of a hot streak by looking at my lineups from the weekend just gone. Welcome to the scene of the crime. Welcome to the wreckage. We've sifted through the debris. We've tried to find if there were any survivors. This is the lineup that really hurt me. This is the one that I spent the most on. This is the one that I had the most hopes for. It's my team, Chelsea. I was most excited about them. You know, Club World Cup champions, won a couple of games in pre-season. It turns out Chelsea were a little bit rusty up front. They played like a team that haven't had a pre-season, which in hindsight, I kind of am like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it made sense that Pedro, Neto, Palmer, they're all not quite interacting as they usually do. Their link-up play was a little off, and they didn't look as fluid as they have and can play. I think it's also worth noting Crystal Palace, you know, there was a bit of criticism about Chelsea after the game. But I think Crystal Palace's last 2 games were beating Man City in the FA Cup, beating Liverpool in the Community Shield. So a draw against Crystal Palace is not like the worst result ever. I probably should have maybe thought about that more when I kind of went the attack. But then again, like João Pedro 34 and Cole Palmer 39. Even on a bad day for those players, they usually get better scores than that. And I wasn't that far off the 360 point mark. So I think I was a little unfortunate, but that's Sorare, you know? That's the game. If you're new around here, buying your cards, it's not a guaranteed. You're not guaranteed to win anything. So that was a nice lesson for me. Not a nice, but that was a lesson for me. And if you are new around here and you're like, oh, this looks fun, Sorare looks fun, I think it's a good time to start playing Sorare because you've missed, especially in the Premier League, you've missed the X5 hot streaks, sure, but the double hot streaks are still here, which is nice. And also, the card prices have come down. So if you're thinking of playing Sorare, first of all, use the link in my description. You'll get a free £50 or euros or dollars credits when you bought 5 cards at auction. But And it helps me out, helps you out, you know, be like N'Golo Kante when Chelsea won the Champions League final, help people out. But I think it's a great time to start playing, even if you're an experienced Sorare player and you haven't entered the Premier League yet. I think now is a good time to play because these cards are all half the price now because a lot of people like me are probably lost the hot streak and then selling their cards in rage and trying to get out. And I think there's some opportunities there, both in the second-hand market and also I'm seeing auction prices in the Premier League much cheaper than they were last week. So could be a good time if you wanted to join Premier League in season, actually this weekend to start, even though you're not getting the X5 hot streaks. And that's what I'm going to be doing in La Liga. Spoiler alert for when I show you my lineups coming up. I'm going to be entering La Liga. Even though I've missed the X5 hot streaks in La Liga, the prices have come down a bit. You've still got double hot streaks, and it's fun. Right, let's get to the car crash. So Pedro and Palmer let me down. The defense looks solid. The defense did their bit. I mean, in hindsight, I would have picked another defender here. Although the defender I thought was going to play, Tosin here, one day after the deadline, it comes out that he's injured and he's not going to play the game. So that was another bit of news that didn't go my way. And then there was the Spurs boys. Paulinho didn't play. Solanke didn't play. Well, they came off the bench, but they didn't start. So these two Spurs players, garbage. Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rogers, terrible scores from them. I thought at home against the Newcastle team that are maybe not quite fully confident due to the whole Isaac situation. Maybe they're a bit unsettled. Could Villa take advantage of that? No is the answer. No was the... In hindsight, Watkins and Rogers wasn't the move. So that didn't really work out as well. Gabriel at Arsenal, 50. Okay. I think long-term pick, though, Gabriel is going to give me great scores. I think Watkins and Rogers, when they play easier teams, should give you good scores. And I'm still optimistic about Spurs. I mean, they won 3-0. They do look good. They do look more solid. I know it was Burnley, but the way Spurs have looked in the Super Cup, the way they've looked in against Burnley, I'm very impressed that Thomas Frank has quickly made them look like a more solid, structured team. So I think Spurs are going to be a good collection this year over the whole course of the season. Estevao, this was a fun lineup anyway. So we made Estevao captain. He was amazing, by the way. He came off the bench. First thing he did was bomb down the right wing, get a cross in, and Neto almost scored a header from his cross. Maybe Estevao starts against West Ham at the weekend. I think I might stick with my Estevao lineup, captaining him. It's fun, and I love him. So these are how my Premier League in-season lineups did. I think I'm going to stick with them. I'm not selling any of these cards. I'm going to stick playing all of these cards. I'm going to try and add a few more so I can make 4 lineups. I have bought a few cards. I'll show you those in a bit, but that's how we did in the Premier League. The weekend just gone. Then we had this bag of lols. Liga. I don't know why Sorare is taking so long to load up today. Champion Classic. So this was also a bit of fun. And one thing about the Classic cards I enjoyed this weekend was winning Essence. Like, especially when I seen that 1,000 Essence can get you a great card. It's like a luck of the draw. It really does feel like Classic cards are fun again. Like last season, they weren't fun. So credit to Sorare, Classic cards feel fun. Building the lineups feels fun. Seeing them win some kind of rewards feels fun. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Classic. Champion, I went for a full West Ham lineup. West Ham playing Sunderland. I thought, you know what? I've been dragging this West Ham collection around the dirt for a while now. This is the season. Potter, full preseason under his belt, gets that team. Paquetá, those charges against him have gone. Paquetá's here. Confidence is going to be up. Fulkrug looked good in preseason. Oh, he's definitely going to come. Oh, wait, he got 26 score from Fulkrug. So it seems like West Ham might still be West Ham. So I'm still going to be chucking him out there, but maybe not a full West Ham lineup anymore. This goalkeeper, by the way, when thanks to whoever it was in my video last week who told me Areola's not going to play, I was 50-50 on Areola, and when I saw that message, I was kind of like, okay, let me get rid of Areola. I'm glad I did, because Areola, he didn't play, isn't the West Ham goalkeeper anymore. And this Monaco card I had last year, the backup goalkeeper at Monaco last year, is now the first team goalkeeper at Brest. So that's a Ligue 1 starting goalkeeper, which is going to be nice for Champion. This lineup, Mika Bireth let me down big time. We got some good scores here. We won 510 Essence from this lineup. which is great. Kudos, Johnson, Tenaglie. Great scores from them. Kamara, Mr. Solid in that. How is he still at Monaco? How has nobody signed Lamine Kamara yet? Every time I watch Monaco, he's so good. He's amazing. Really industrious. Box to box. Can do everything. Takes corners. Got a great pass on him. Got a great tackle on him. Lamine Kamara surely will not be at Monaco for that much longer. But he's amazing. An assist from him. Great score from him. Because he wins tackles as well. So his Sorare scores are so fun. When he has a great game, he wins tackles, he makes forward passes, takes corners. Love him. But Biereth, Alonso, and Sevilla probably stopped me getting a really nice prize here. But, you know, I'm still happy with 500 essence. That's half a craft. That's half a card from a classic lineup. Great. 100 essence won here because the Forest boys did well. The Barcelona boys did well. The DMP goalkeeper, last week's video, I was saying I don't know who's going to start in defense for Monaco. I don't know if it's going to be Kehrer or Singo. In the end, it was neither. So I spent hours debating who do I pick, and neither of them played. So that was hilarious. I still don't know if that was because it was the first game of the season. They played a guy who they don't usually play last season. I think he very rarely plays, so I'm not going to go into the in-depth dive on Monaco's formation. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on the Monaco defenders. I'll be a bit more cautious until I see a bit of a pattern of who's the reliable starting centre-backs for Monaco. Seems like it's going to be Eric Dyer and still either one of Singo or Kehrer, which I still need to work out. So we'll just dial back on Monaco. They've got a tricky away game this weekend, so we're not going to be backing them anyway. And then if Sorare ever decides to show me my last champion lineup, we went for a long shot here. Wolves against Man City. We thought Man City's defense might be vulnerable. We thought Wolves at home, first day of the season, might attack. And they did. I watched the game. Wolves attacked loads. They were really adventurous. They got lots of chances. They just didn't take them. So that didn't work. Chelsea defensive players did well. Barcelona let me down as well. Of course, Barcelona defenders, just stay clear of Barcelona defenders. Even when they keep a clean sheet. 45. What are you playing at? And then Dimitrovic in goal, who has moved to Espanyol. So I had 3 Leganes cards last year. And Dimitrovic has moved to Espanyol. So I've got a starting goalkeeper in La Liga. That's great. The other guy I have, Danny Rabe, has gone to Valencia. Starting for Valencia. So the Leganes mini collection from last year is going to be fun and classic. Now, we did quite well in one of our under 23 lineups. We won 255 essence. So, you know, look, we've basically got 1,000 essence from all of these lineups I've showed you so far. That's a card. Classic is fun again. This lineup was quite fun. I knew the goalkeeper wasn't going to play, so it was a kind of a let's see if all of the rest of them smash, and they did. So here's a little lesson for Sorare beginners. If you've got a DMP goalkeeper, chuck him wherever you can and just hope for the best, because I knew the goalkeeper wasn't going to play, but all of these guys did quite well. Nesley didn't do well, which is a shame, but the rest of them smashed. Achiapong was incredible for Chelsea and is probably going to start. I put him in this lineup just to build his XP. I was like, let me just put him in this lineup, build his XP. Maybe he starts, because I didn't know if Chalobah was going to play. I've heard a lot of good things about Big Josh in preseason, and obviously as a Chelsea fan, I'm fully aware of how the club view him. There's a lot of hype around him, so I threw him in here as a kind of. I thought it might be Tosin and him. I kind of thought Chalobah would be the one that didn't play. In the end, it was Chalobah who played alongside him. So Achiapong, bought him for like £3, £1.50 market credits. That could be a nice little purchase if he keeps his place in the team. And then everyone else did well. This lineup was like literally just building XP on cards. All-Star Classic. Did okay here apart from Doria. Doria let me down. If Doria had played, it seems like, and I'm really annoyed because Doria is one of my favorite players in Mexico. He used to play for my team, Santos. And he was my favorite player at Santos. Then he left, and I've kind of followed his career still. And he was first team last season. Seems like this season he might not be first team anymore. He made a mistake a few weeks ago. I think he gave away a penalty, or he made a huge costly mistake, and he hasn't got in the team since. So I don't know if the manager's punishing him for a few games and then he's going to bring him back, or bringing back to Santos. That's what I want. But yeah, I'm going to have to stop playing Doria again, like the Monaco boys, until I know his first team. But even with a DMP, we still got 100 essence, which that's all right. Brunetta, great score. Piovi, my favorite defender in the league. Well, second favorite after Doria, but favorite scoring defender. And then we chucked in a Fermin Lopez. I'm loving All-Star. I'm loving just like building a complete Mexico lineup and then a Barcelona boy. It's fun. These lineups didn't win me anything, so let's not get excited about it. Elliot Anderson. What an assist. What an assist of the season so far from Elliot Anderson. Glorious player. So I'm having fun with my Forest cards. Classic Forest collection at 5%. Having fun with them. We saw Chris Wood. We saw Hudson-Odoi earlier. We got some good scores from the Forest boys. Nice score from Ferran Torres. If anyone wants a little La Liga tip, Ferran Torres is playing up front for Barcelona at the moment because Lewandowski is a bit injured. And I think Amreezy kind of feeling we're going to see a lot of Ferran Torres this year. Lewandowski's not getting any younger. I mean, no one is, but Lewandowski starting the season with a little bit of an injury, it's worrying, I think, for him. And I think Ferran Torres is going to get a lot more chances, a lot more games this year. The manager does seem to like him. And Barcelona are in such financial ruins. It's not like they can go out and buy another striker who can replace Lewandowski. So I think they're going to, when Lewandowski's fit, he's going to be playing. But, you know, he's getting older. They've got Champions League football. They've got the Cup. They've got the league. I think Ferran Torres is going to get a lot more game time. I think the weekend coming up, Torres is expected to play again because Lewandowski is not quite fully fit. So let's see if he can keep scoring well. Here's Danny Rabah, who did well for me here. This lineup had a few big scores. Danny Rabah, Alvarez, Henderson, and Sergio Dominguez is crushing it in Croatia. Got him as a Barcelona card. He's gone to Croatia, playing for the top of the table team, scoring 70 scores every week. He could be a really fun all-star defender for me this year. And then again, 100 essence won from this lineup. Happy days. That is how I did last weekend. Let's take a look at a couple of new cards I've been bringing in since last week's video. Right, gang, welcome to my gallery. These are the cards that I was showing you that I bought last week for game week 1. They were these cards here, and then I think the last card I maybe showed you was this card, Tosin, which was really annoying, by the way. I bought Colwill early on, got injured, out for the season. I replaced him with Tosin, I bought a Tosin. He got injured as well. So I hope I'm not cursed. Let's hope the curse ends soon. So after last week's video, I did make a video on my YouTube channel where I crafted 7 cards. If you want to go see that video, it's on my channel. I crafted 7 cards with the essence that I had so far. And the best card was Anthony Gordon. So I'm excited about that. I was thinking of buying an Anthony Gordon anyway. I was just going to wait till after this weekend coming up because they're playing Liverpool. I was going to wait till after the Liverpool game and then I was going to buy an Anthony Gordon because I just think with Isaac kind of not going to be playing probably this season, Gordon has been playing as the number 9. And I think even if he moves back to the wing, I just feel like he's 24 years old. There's something about that age where it's like, it's time to kind of step up now. And with Isaac being the kind of focal point for Newcastle, the main man in the attack, they need someone to step up and be that guy and just be Mr. Reliable. So I hope it's Gordon. It's kind of more of a bit of a hope. I like how he plays as well. So I wanted an Anthony Gordon and I crafted him. So I got him 1 week earlier than I probably expected. So Gordon came in. So did a La Liga goalkeeper. Now, after this week, I was thinking, where do I go next? I want to play Premier League in season and another league in season. And I wanted it to be one of the big European leagues. Bundesliga, French League, or Spanish League. So the fact that I got a goalkeeper kind of made my decision for me that La Liga is the one to go for. But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, last season, my 2 biggest leagues were Premier League and La Liga. So when I was crafting these cards, Premier League and La Liga essence, that's what I have the most of. And I think that's a good strategy to pick like a few leagues, because then if you win rewards, you're going to keep getting essence from those leagues and you're not going to get like a Bundesliga card that you have to sell. So I'm going to stick this year, I think, to Premier League and La Liga. They're my focus. The other reason I thought I should play La Liga, not just because I got a goalkeeper now, is because I've got a Barcelona collection from last season with players like Rafinha, Lewandowski, good players. So Rafinha can be my classic card for a La Liga in-season team, and I can buy a bit of a budget La Liga team and then have Rafinha as the kind of main guy. Whereas if I was to go Bundesliga or French League, I don't really have a smasher classic card. I would have to use the goalkeeper, and I don't usually I know it's quite common to use the goalkeeper as your classic card, but I just think there's a bigger score upside if you have the outfield card, who's someone like Rafinha, as your classic card, because he scores well, whereas goalkeepers kind of just score average, especially in La Liga. Goalkeepers and defenses in general in La Liga are not as solid as other leagues. So this goalkeeper is not a great scoring goalkeeper. I remember him from Bournemouth. Radu, 46 L15, not the best. He does have, on his day, if he makes a save, if he fancies making a save as a goalkeeper, he can get a good score, like a 70. So I think I'm just going to play him. Celta Vigo. I've got a Marcos Alonso card as well in Classic. I might maybe get a Marcos Alonso in Season because I love him, obviously. Marcos Alonso, he runs down the wing for me. I love Marcos Alonso. I could pair him with a Marcos Alonso and maybe get some weeks like this where they get a good score. But I'm going to just kind of have a bit of fun with La Liga and take Premier League a bit more seriously. So I also crafted this lad who is on the trans. I'm trying to sell him. If anybody wants to buy Frank Suarez, hit your boy Amreezy up. I also crafted a Parkman Ho. If anybody wants a Parkman Ho, hit your boy up. Then I had a bit of fun. Then I decided, right, let's build this La Liga team, shall we? I love Football Manager. And for the last 2 or 3 Football Managers, my favorite player has been Thiago Almada. The guy I signed first, every save, has been Thiago Almada. And he's at Atletico Madrid now. Because of Football Manager, followed his career, and he's been playing in MLS. He's been playing all over the place. But now he's at a kind of one of the big boys in Europe. Atletico Madrid, 28 quid. I thought that was a good price. So I've got Thiago Almada, and I'm really excited about him. He scored okay in his last game. Simeone seems to be building a bit more of a fun Atletico Madrid team this season. The signings they've made aren't the kind of old-style Atletico Madrid players of just like a solid park the bus, be boring, frustrate the opposition. They don't seem to be signing players like that anymore. So I'm hoping Atletico Madrid are going to be a bit more fun, a bit more expansive, and European football, international football as well. A lot of the cards that I've been buying, and this is going all the way back to players like João Pedro, Paulinho, Pedro Porro, Gabriel, Cucurella, Caicedo, a lot of the players I've been buying in season. I'm also thinking of international breaks, World Cup at the end of the year. So it's not my deciding factor, but if it's a bonus. So Thiago Almada, Argentina as well, could be a fun card for Champions League, for La Liga, for international breaks. So Thiago Almada, speaking of internationals, Taki Kubo is a player that I always have seen on Sorare, and I played La Liga last year, and I always wanted a Kubo. But what I did last year was I went for a Deportivo Alaves collection and a Barcelona collection, and I got them both to 5%. Barcelona's not quite a 5%, but I think in 20 days it will be. So I only really focused on the collection pieces and tried to build teams around that. Whereas this year, what I'm going to do with La Liga is not really worry about collections, and just pick random players and see if that approach works. In the Premier League, I'm going to go collection heavy. Chelsea, Spurs, maybe a bit of Villa and Newcastle as like a mini collection, but I think Chelsea and Spurs is the bigger collection. Whereas La Liga, what I'm thinking of doing is just picking random players from all over the league, not worrying about collections, going for that bonus of having no more than 2 players in the lineup, and having fun with it. So Almada and Kubo could be 2 really fun players this year. Also with Kubo, there's lots of rumours he might go to the Premier League. So if he gets a move to the Premier League, he could even go to Tottenham. That could also work for me. So I'm happy to have him as a La Liga player if he stays at Sociedad. If he moves, 24 years old, really exciting player, got a great future ahead of him. All of these cards as well that I bought for La Liga are young players that I'm kind of investing in to keep as classic cards for a few years. So Thiago Almada and Kubo, both 24 years old, loads of years of usage in them. I then bought a Vicario to help with my Spurs collection, give me an in-season Premier League goalkeeper, because I only have one in-season goalkeeper in Sanchez. Like I said, I know they're expensive, the goalkeepers in season, but if you get one, you can then use a classic card, like one of my smashers, who when they've got a good fixture, and play them and captain them. So I just think that's a better way of doing it. Vicario helps with the Spurs collection. So I bought Vicario. I've been encouraged with his scores and his performances. I think Spurs are going to keep more clean sheets this year. And yeah, he's a good goalkeeper. Again, young, 28 for a goalkeeper is quite young. Lots of years ahead of him. Then I went for another Sociedad defender. And the defenders in La Liga they're all over the shop. There's no one you can kind of go solid. Even the Real Madrid and Barcelona defenders. Like Barcelona, their defense is a joke. Last season, I had a Barcelona in-season collection. Their defense was a joke. Like, they'll have an easy game at home and they'll just concede the stupidest goal ever. And, you know, you've also got selection problems. Like, Eric Garcia's playing at right back instead of Jules Koundé. What? How long is that going to keep going on for? Eric Garcia is scoring really well, but I was like, 20 quid for Eric Garcia. If he then goes out of the team, I'm going to be annoyed. So what I did was I looked at statistics and I looked at which out of all the defenders in La Liga this weekend, which defender I found some XG statistics, and the player that had the most expected tackles, the player that had the most expected clearances and won the most duels this weekend just gone was John Mikel Aramburu. Now, that was enough for me to go on because and he's 22 and he plays for the same team as Kubo. So I kind of thought, okay, and then that gives me 2 players from that team. That could be my 2 from them. Maybe if I do decide to build a collection later on in the season, I could build a Sociedad collection. If they have a good season, I've started. So I didn't know what defender to go for. He's really cheap as well. So I kind of was like, I'm just going to go for a budget defense because I've got a budget goalkeeper that I crafted, a budget defender, and then the 3 attacking players are going to be Rafinha, Classic, Kubo, and Almada, who are a little bit more expensive, but they're like the fun attackers. So I'm going to see how that pays off. Budget defense, bit more money in the attack. So let's see how he does. Really young defender, won the most tackles out of anyone in La Liga this weekend. So I'm going to hope, because I didn't know what to go on. I didn't know what logic to use. So I just thought, you know what? That's not the worst logic to use. He won the most tackles out of anyone that weekend. In the first weekend of the season, shows that he might be a good player this year. 22 years old as well. So at that age, I don't think it's that useful looking at past data because he was 21, he was 20, he was developing. He's now getting to a stage where he's getting older, more experienced, and he plays as quite an attacking right back as well. So I like wing backs, especially in La Liga. I like wing backs. So let's go for him. And then we go to this one, which is a bit of an odd one. I basically needed to build a 4th lineup in the Premier League this weekend, and I didn't have a midfielder. And I just wanted to put a lineup out there to build XP on the other 4 cards. So I went, right, I'm going to just get a Premier League card under £4 who's a midfielder, and all of the cards under £4 were bench players. So I was like, okay, I'm fine. I'll get a bench player just to kind of help me build a 4th lineup this weekend. But also I wanted a player who I could possibly take a risk on. And all of the players were players that in that price range were players that either don't play at all or they're bench players that come off the bench. So essentially I'm looking at all the Premier League bench players that come off the bench that I think could have a good season or could potentially break into the first team. And there were players like Jordan Henderson. There were players like Jordan Henderson, basically, who were a bit older, whereas Smith Rowe was going for about £3, and he's like young. I like him as a player. I really have a lot of hope about him. I really want him to do well because when he was at Arsenal, there's so much potential there. He looked so exciting, and I just think 24 years old, he's getting to that age where he kind of needs to, for the sake of his career, make a step up. And is this his season? I don't know, but I thought it's a fun, cheap pick in season to go for. And he does often come off the bench for Fulham, so he either starts or he comes off the bench. So it's not like you're going to get 0 points from him most weeks. And if you look at last season, he did have a period of the season when he got into the team. He did get into the team. So I'm hoping with this pick that he allows me to build a 4th lineup this weekend. He allows me to build XP on other cards. But I'm hoping if he gets into that team, because I did see the Fulham highlights of the weekend, and they do miss some creativity. They do miss a player like him at his best. So I'm hoping, I like him. So I bought his card because I like him. I also didn't buy him. I traded cards for him that I didn't want. So I traded 2 cards that I didn't want for him. So it also feels like I didn't buy him. It feels like I got rid of some stuff I didn't want, got him. And if we can get to this kind of form, last season, if we can get a bit of confidence in Smith Rowe, if he can get in the Fulham first team, that might be a nice pick. So that's why I got Smith Rowe. So I mentioned my lineups for the coming weekend. Let's finish this week's video with that. Here are my lineups for game week 3 in the wonderful world of Sorare. Right then, gang, here we are, game week 3 lineups. We're building quite a few lineups now. The lineups are kind of picking up. So I'll just go through the serious ones, the ones that I kind of think I've got the best chance of winning something from. I'm once again playing the exact same Chelsea lineup, kind of hoping because they're playing West Ham, it might go better, easier opposition than Palace. West Ham just lost to Sunderland. Hopefully confidence is low. Hopefully Chelsea have got a bit of a point to prove. So the exact same lineup. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It is broke, and I haven't fixed it. So let's see what happens here. Cole Palmer captain is the... I'm umming and ahhing about Cole Palmer captain. I'm wondering if I should captain a defender. But I just know if Cole Palmer gets in a goal involvement, if he does something attacking, I'm going to be so annoyed I didn't captain Chelsea's best player. So we're sticking with Captain Cole. And that's my Chelsea lineup against West Ham. Speaks for itself. This lineup, Anthony Gordon has come straight into the first team. Crafted. He's playing Liverpool at home. Now, the reason why I'm playing him is if anyone saw Bournemouth v Liverpool, Semenyo had a field day against Liverpool. And Gordon's kind of a similar player to Semenyo. Same position, direct, pacey, lots of attacking runs. So I'm kind of hoping Gordon does to Konate what Semenyo does. So Gordon's straight in that team. Watkins and Rodgers, why not? One more chance for Watkins and Rodgers. Captain Watkins as well, because if this lineup is going to do anything, it's going to need Villa to be way better this game. And Brentford weren't very convincing at the weekend as well, a bit like West Ham. So my logic is kind of stick with the Villa boys, Captain Watkins. Hopefully we get a better response. Crystal Palace at home to Nottingham Forest. I'm not sure how that game's going to go. It's kind of like 2 teams that both did well last season, both on the up. Who knows? But Henderson is a quality keeper, so he's going to be my classic goalkeeper here. With Gabriel, a lovely fixture for Gabriel at home to Leeds. So let me just edit the lineup. As I'm speaking right now, Gabriel captain. Surely. At home to Leeds. Arsenal. Gabriel captain. We're sticking with Esteval. We're sticking with the Esteval pick. It's a bit of fun. Why not? Esteval captain. I might switch it to Cunha. I do have a good feeling about Cunha. Man United did look really attacking against Arsenal. Arsenal have got one of the best defenses in the league, so they were able to contain Manchester United. Fulham don't have one of the best defenses in the league. So I think Mbeumo and Cunha are going to have fun against... and I don't have an Mbeumo, so I could go for Captain Cunha. I'm going to kind of wait and see about this one. Esteval feels a bit of a silly one, but this does feel like a silly lineup. So why not? I'm going to go for big Joshua Achepong. Hopefully he plays again. Vicario and Paulinho, they're playing Manchester City away, so that's going to be a really tricky fixture, but I don't have many in-season cards to go for this week. I've got tricky fixtures this week for Spurs, especially Man City away. There's not going to be many trickier fixtures than that. So we're playing Vicario in the hope that he makes lots of saves. We're playing Paulinho. It is 70% chance of playing. I do think he plays. Because he did look good against PSG in the Super Cup. And I'm expecting Spurs to play a similar system to how they played against PSG. They'll probably go 3 at the back. Paulinho then gets more freedom to go forward in a 3-man midfield. Let's see if it works. And then we've got this joke Premier League lineup, which again, I'm just building XP on Solanke and Pedro Porro. I don't think they're going to do well against City, so I kind of just want to build their XP. Smith Rowe's in there. Ian Matson's in there. They're probably not going to play, but we're going to build some XP. They might come off the bench, Smith Rowe, maybe, but yeah, very little expectations from that lineup. Then we've got our very first La Liga in-season lineup. I like La Liga. It's my kind of second Sorare European league. So we are now in La Liga in season. Finally, we didn't go for the X5. We didn't go for the X5 hot streak. And here's an interesting comment I want to make. Very arrogant to assume it was going to be interesting. I was very tempted to chase my losses after being knocked out of the Premier League X5 hot streaks. I was very tempted to go Bundesliga because Bundesliga has a chance this weekend for the ×5 hot streaks. You can still get a hot streak, start the hot streak in Bundesliga because it's the first game of the season. But the prices have gone up in Bundesliga because everyone's done that. And I kind of learned my lesson from the Premier League that you're not guaranteed to win the hot streak just because you enter it. And I just thought, if I felt like I'm chasing, trying to get my losses back. Let me build a Bundesliga team and then maybe I can stay on a hot streaks ×5 in Bundesliga. And it just felt like I was not being sensible, not being calm and cautious like I usually am on Sorare. And La Liga just felt like a more safe pick. Like I explained earlier, I can play Rafinha in that league as a classic card. I can't do that in Bundesliga. I don't have any Bundesliga cards. And even though the 5 streaks gone in La Liga, like I said earlier, there's still double hot streaks. I want to play La Liga in season for the whole season as well. So why not get involved now while it's still exciting, while it's still new? And some of these players like Kubo and Almada, I picked them up for like £20, Kubo for £18. If they explode and do really well this weekend, those prices might go up. If Almada gets goal involvements, if Kubo gets goal involvements, they neither of them did amazing at the weekend just gone. So I think they're good picks and they could potentially go up in value, but long term, I'm looking long term here. I think they're going to be great picks all season. So these are my only 4 cards I have in season in La Liga. I don't have any. I couldn't build another lineup. Hopefully we win something in La Liga. Hopefully we start crafting La Liga cards and I can start deciding which direction to go with in La Liga in terms of teams, in terms of kind of how to build lineups. I'm going to let my crafting and cards that I win kind of decide which cards I add to the La Liga gallery. But for now, these are the initial 5 cards we're starting with. Champion. What is happening with the Sorare site today? It's not my internet. It's the Sorare site. It's been a bit funny today and yesterday. Full Chelsea lineup featuring Julian Alvarez and captaining Julian Alvarez because they've got a delicious, delicious fixture. So captain Julian Alvarez, Chelsea boys alongside him. Here we're splitting everybody up. 2 Palace, 2 Barcelona, Forest, Spurs. Monaco, splitting them up. Monaco haven't got an amazing fixture, but away. I never like an away game, but let's see how they do. Away at Lille. Santiago Jimenez is a bit of an interesting pick, I think. AC Milan, first game. Nice game against Cremonese. Maybe we see AC Milan do something. So big Santiago Jimenez, Mexican star boy, is in there. Then we've got, again, we're splitting everyone up. Barcelona splitting up. Forest splitting up. Declan Rice, captain. Arsenal at Leeds at home. I was trying to get Declan Rice in a Premier League in-season lineup, but it's kind of between Cunha and Declan Rice, and I just think Cunha has more of an attacking threat. So Cunha kind of edged it over Declan Rice, so he's going to be in here as captain. So hopefully this lineup could be nice. I've got a good feeling about this lineup. Could get some good scores here. Ola Aina isn't the best scoring Sorare player, but his L15 is really low. He enables all of these big kind of L15 players to keep me with under the cap 370 limit. So if Ola Aina does well, this lineup could be fun. Then my final lineups, if Sorare ever decides to show me, are All-Star, where I don't think I've got any serious under 23 lineups this week. We're not as optimistic as we are last week. Our All-Star lineups are just a black void. Here they are. Full Mexico lineup featuring Sergi Dominguez as captain. Sergi Dominguez is becoming a hero, a channel hero. So we're Team Sergi Dominguez here. We're going to captain him, and then we're going to play a whole bunch of Mexican cards where we've kept it within. We've gone over the cap limit here, but they're all smashers. So we've gone over the cap 370 limit, but we've kept it to 2 clubs maximum. 2 Tigres, 2 Cruz Azul, 1 Necaxa here, and then, oh, this guy's not Mexican. This guy's the German Bundesliga 2. So a bit of a fun lineup here, but all big L15s out here. Big L15 scores. So hopefully they can keep those scores going. And then the rest of the lineups, we've split the players into 2 teams of 2, capped it within the cap 370 limit. 2 Monaco again, 2 Crystal Palace again, Burnley, captaining Burnley. And that's a bit of a long shot, but I just think Josh Cullen, even though Burnley lost in the first game of the season. Josh Cullen got like a 60-something score. So they've got an easier fixture against Sunderland. And even though Sunderland looked really good in the first game of the season, I think Burnley at home, probably a bit more fired up. And even if they lose, Josh Cullen gets involved in the midfield. So I've got a hunch about him. So I'm captaining him. That might come back to bite me, especially if Mika Biret scores a couple of goals. But Biret's been a bit off lately, and I don't feel confident captaining him anymore. So he's out. Tigres defensive stack here. Forest, Tigres, Chelsea, Chalobah here. Again, not fully certain Chalobah plays, which is why he's in this lineup. Because if Tosin is fit enough to play, and Acheampong was so good at the weekend, like man of the match performance from him, we could see Tosin and Acheampong at the back. So then Chalobah might not play. So with that in mind, I'm putting him in this lineup, which is not as much at stake. And then my final lineup, Santos goalkeeper. Let's go Santos. It wouldn't be a Sorare weekend without me throwing in a Santos Laguna player here. So big Carlos Acevedo's in goal. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Strand Larson. I don't think we've got any players here from the same team. Oh no, we've got 2 Valencia players here. Pepelu and Rabah. Don't like that Pepelu's 40%. Might have to investigate that. Maybe Pepelu comes out if I'm going to have to investigate that. I thought Pepelu was pretty nailed on to play. But he was pretty good in the first game of the season. So maybe my Valencia stack needs a little thinking. But the rest of them, that's what we're going with. And they are my lineups for the weekend, guys. Thank you for watching my videos as always. I love you all. Appreciate the likes, the comments, the subscribes. Means a huge thing. Good luck with your Game Week 3s, guys. I'll see you next week. Join me on Monday as well for a live chat on YouTube after the last Premier League game of the week with Hoodwink. Great guest. Join me for that. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Peace.